I'm Leigh Brown. This is Crazy Shit in Real Estate. Today, I've got Mindy Delano with me. She is a local realtor, and she's got some wonderful insights for you. You're going to love the conversation, and I'll see you on the other side. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me all right?
Absolutely. Your sound is good with those headphones in. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, basically, you're just down the road. So good morning.
Yes.
Holiday sunshine today.
Well, I'm just in Huntersville, so.
I know, but I'm in Concord, so you're just down 73.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell my listeners who Mindy is? Of course, we just admitted that you're just on the other side of where I am, and tell them how long you've been in real estate. Give them a little bit of a snapshot.
So this is my office. First of all, excuse the vacuum cleaner and the taken down bathroom mirror for renovations.
I mean, vacuum proves that you're clean, so I think we should brag about
it. And my awards for Premier South Awards. But anyways, I'm Mindy Delano, and I am a real estate agent here in the local Charlotte market, and I've been in Charlotte for about 30 years. I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, so Charlotte is home to me. I graduated from UNC Charlotte with a degree in English. I've worked in, I like to say, all aspects of Charlotte, so NASCAR, banking, healthcare. So my job before I was a real estate agent was 15 years in healthcare. So I bring a lot of customer service to the table.
So now, were you working at Baptist up in Winston-Salem before you came here?
No, I worked for a small company here in the Charlotte area that was a third party. So all those people, you see those pharmaceutical drug companies commercials on TV. They say, if you can't afford the drugs, call so-and-so.
Is that you?
We were so-and-so.
Oh. Well, those commercials drive me nuts, but that's a whole different conversation.
It is.
That's a problem. But so let's see, 30 years ago, that would be when Big Tobacco was winding down in Winston-Salem. Was your family involved with Reynolds or with Big Tobacco at all?
Yes, my dad worked for Reynolds, so.
Oh.
Yep.
So that they were like the golden people for a long time.
Sure were.
Oh, and what got solved by all those class action lawsuits? Oh, nothing. Oh, okay.
Correct.
Just take all our jobs and move them away. No big deal.
That's right.
That's craziness. Okay, so 30 years in Charlotte. Have you lived in Huntersville the whole time? Because Huntersville was a teeny-tiny town with the Cashins back then.
It was. No, I used to travel to Lake Norman back in the mid-90s, but I have lived in the university area of Charlotte. I lived there for a long time after I graduated, and then I moved to Huntersville in 2005, so I've seen it grow.
Yeah, you were there when the first subdivisions were really getting big, but it's nothing like it is now. It's wild.
No, I feel like I'm a settler in Huntersville.
I mean, that's what's funny. And you're not even a native of the area, but you kind of are because you've been here before all of this stuff happened.
Yes.
I had to think of a different, like a word for the people who aren't from an area but moved into it before it changed. So you're kind of native, you're semi-native. There's got to be.
I know you're going to come up with something.
We will, and we'll make great oodles and scads of money on it, Mindy, because I'm sure we can have stickers made for our vehicles or something, and people will buy.
Love it.
Right now, somebody listening or watching the show is coming up with the idea. You're welcome. Just cut us in. At least name us in your blog post when you talk about it. All right. So, out of healthcare, you move into the real estate space.
Yes, ma'am.
How big of a transition was that?
Well, so when I was in banking. And ironically enough, I was in corporate real estate. So I got to see kind of how the banks deal with, U-Haul mortgages and those kinds of things. But I had always loved real estate. I mean, I was always looking at it. So it was kind of a no-brainer when a family friend of mine said, Mindy, have you ever thought about real estate? And I looked at her and I said, yeah, I have. And the rest is history.
I do wonder how many people get into real estate because somebody sees something in them that makes them think real estate And it doesn't always pan out, but it is often a profession that you're suggested to, because the guidance counselors do not tell kids in high school, oh, you should totally be a realtor. They don't bring that up.
They're
But
now called student services.
oh, is that what it's called now? Well, they didn't serve my kids, but that's a different discussion for a different day too. Because they pick and choose their favorites, but that's a whole different conversation. I loved my guidance counselor. She was wonderful. Of course, she was also 853 years old when I was in high school. And so if she's still alive, then she's a lot older than that now. And if you're watching this, I love you, Nan. All right, but I think she's dead. Her son probably watches my show, though. So, hey, David, what's up? And- I'm going to want to get myself in trouble one day. But anyway, how did I get there? Oh, you were suggested to go into real estate. So did the person who suggested that tell you why? Or did they just look at you and say, you ought to do this?
Well, they had been in the real estate industry for a long, long time.
Oh,
Worked with one of our friends, Bill Gallagher.
we love Bill.
We love Bill. Take a sip of something.
I will. In his honor, I'll get my sparkling water.
Got my Stanley.
Look, Bill, we're going to take care of you.
Yep. So she had worked for Bill when he was starting his real estate school, that journey. And so she just I think she kind of had a knack for it.
Spotting talent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So did you take your license class from Bill Gallagher or from one of his people at Superior?
I did take it at Superior, yes.
I mean, there's a reason his people pass the test. He knows how to get people started, but then he also tells you, once you get the license, you got to learn how to do this. There's two different things.
It is way two different things. And that math, you don't need it.
I mean, it'd be nice if realtors could do math, but they also can't do English. And since you have an English degree, Mindy, can we just discuss how apostrophes have taken over the world and all the places they don't belong?
Correct. Well, I'm guilty of it too. So.
I about lost my mind. I was buying a wedding present for one of my cousins, and I was on Etsy buying them something with their new last name on it. And every last thing has apostrophe S, and there is nothing possessive about putting your name on a house. Stop it, people. I don't know who has the power to make this stop, but apostrophes gone wild is maybe that's the English program I'll put together in my next project, and you can co-author that with me, Mindy.
Sounds like a good plan.
Grammar gone wild. That actually, the sad thing is that would, it would be very popular.
I know it would be.
The state of our world is diminishing, and here I am making it worse. Okay, so anyway, we can't do math. We most of the time can't do very much with English and grammar, but you have to learn how to do the business once you get your license. So did you land on a team? Did somebody take you under their wing? How did you find a way in that allowed you to succeed?
So I was fortunate to have my friend who gently nudged me in the way to real estate. She nudged me back to a broker in charge who had been in the business a long time. And that was where I needed to go at the time. And he held my hand and guided me right through it as a good broker in charge should do.
All right. So how did you pick him then? Because she recommended him, but I presume you interviewed others, or you just landed there because you trust her that much?
No, I interviewed others, but he also had a Winston-Salem connection. So I felt like it was kind of at home there a little bit.
So the same thing that connects us to buyers and sellers connected you to your broker when you find that common thread.
Yes.
And the common thread wasn't money.
It was not.
It
was definitely how you connect with people.
Which is never talked about really between agents and brokers, because often the conversation just goes to client relationships. But would you say that your success hinged on the broker with whom you affiliated right out of the gate? Does he get credit for you surviving 2 years?
He does. But only because he was there. You know, if I had a question, I could pick up the phone and call him. I wasn't pushed off to somebody else who was too busy to take my call or take my text when I needed to write my first, offer. That first offer was horrible.
Well, it is scary because in the back of your mind, I remember my very first sale, and I was thinking, you're, I don't know what y'all are crazy. Why did you pick me? You've lost your minds. You should have picked. I'm questioning their belief in me when I've got the knowledge and I had my dad as a mentor and you've got your broker as a mentor and you still question yourself because it is a really big deal what we do.
It is. And it's more of the legal implications that are all on those forms, as you know.
And they change every 5 minutes. I feel like I can barely keep up right now with all the form changes. And I'm an active practitioner. I don't know how somebody who's not active keeps up right now.
They don't. There's no way.
That's true. There's the nurse in you coming out, and probably like, you know what? Bottom line, poof.
Yeah.
Medical side lands the punch. All right. So, in the first 2 years, what is the biggest surprise you've had about coming into real estate that you didn't expect?
Well, this is year 7. So the
Well, I
first
thought you were year 2. Okay,
No.
you can go back to your first 2 years then.
First 2 years were prior to COVID. So
Different market.
different market, different market. North Carolina was heavy on earnest money then, not due diligence. And I still remind people, and I remind the audience today, neither are required in North Carolina. They are looked at heavily. But so the first 2 years, I was just kind of feeling my way out, feeling out where I fit with people, what type of buyers and sellers I worked well with. And, people ask me a lot, what's your buyer? And I'll say, first time buyers.
Oh,
Because I was once a first time home buyer.
you never forgot that.
Mm-mm. And I'm still in the same house I bought almost 20 years ago.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
Very nicely done.
Yeah. So that equity is
Have you paid it off yet? Are you getting close?
close.
I mean, I think that's the mark of being medium aged. We don't think about the equity as much as we're looking at it's going to pay off. It's going to be free and clear soon. That's going to be a celebrating day, isn't it? Woo!
It is. It is.
But we won't give Dave Ramsey all the credit, except that he does talk about it more than other people do. But all right, so you love your first time buyers.
Yes. And I love I have a minor in geriatrics. So I love old people.
So you like first timers and last timers?
First timers, middle time. I don't discriminate, Leigh. I just did a fair housing workshop yesterday.
Well, good. But, fair housing does get people nervous about specializing. And you absolutely can specialize in a demographic group because there's an understanding of generational differences. And it doesn't mean you're excluding the others, but not everybody is good with old people.
No.
Because you have to have a lot of patience. And I think you have to have a high level of empathy too, because somebody leaving a house they've lived in for 40 years is an emotional upheaval. It's wild.
It is. And I don't think people realize that when they're like, oh, I'm getting ready to go to, my apartment at the assisted living. You're leaving 50 years of your house. It is going to feel some type of way.
Absolutely. And especially if you're getting rushed into it by a family member. We won't call you out, kids, but don't rush your older people into moving, please. Please give them a minute to
take a breath,
detach, take a breath, donate, make y'all come take your stuff. I think that might be, now that I say that, maybe that's part of the issue right now, Mindy, because young people won't take stuff from their elders when they're moving. I'm sure you've seen that too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They've got this beautiful solid wood inherited furniture, and the young people walk in and say, I don't want that old stuff. They'd rather have something that's the box from IKEA, which is junk. And so it hurts the feelings of an elderly person who scrimped and saved and kept that piece probably for the next generation.
Mm-hmm. You're on to something.
Something to be said about that. I'm fascinated by it right now because I mean, my kids are almost 19 and 20, and they don't want the stuff we have around the house. And I'm like, but that was your great grandmother's piece, and it was the first store-bought thing our family ever owned, is this one little piece of furniture that she had to have, and my kids are like, "Eh." And I just want to cry. Of course, they might age into having appreciation, but
Yeah, I think I kind of had to age back. I had it, and then I went through some 20s and 30s, and in my 40s, I came back around to it, and I was like, there's something about an antique.
there is, especially, well, in today's throwaway world in specific. I feel the same way about houses. My heart just hurts when I go past an old home that is just falling in on itself because people quit paying attention to it. They said it's a tear down.
Yes.
Say it should be a commercial property. And you're like, no, that was a cool house. Please bring it back.
Yes. I have trouble with new construction. Nothing against it, but I have trouble because I love a good character in a home. And you don't find that often with
There's not
the builders around here.
Well, I do blame the model home era. I read a study that said, and I don't know how accurate it is, but that only 15% of the population can visualize. And so because people can't create the image, they go with what they can see, feel, and touch. And so a builder may have 10 floor plans, but they have 2 models. It's the 2 models they build over and over and over, except for the one person who picked the floor plan out of the batch. And you look at any of our subdivisions, they wind up with the models replicated different elevations. And so the anecdotal evidence would support that number, but it's a little depressing because then you do walk into houses with a buyer. You're like, okay, yeah, this is the elevation B. Okay, this is elevation D. It's got a little vinyl shake on it. It's wildly different.
Yes. And there's gray floors instead of brown floors.
Oh, but at least I'm not honey anymore. So yay that the honey oak era has passed.
Yes. It'll come back though.
I mean, it will, because leg warmers came back.
True.
But they didn't stay long. Did you notice that when the leg warmers came back?
I didn't ever get on the train the first time.
Yes, you did. You had to have some.
Well, I danced. So, yes, I had leg warmer. I danced for 13 years. So, yeah.
What kind of dance did you do?
Classical ballet.
Really? Did you ever dance Swan Lake?
No, but I did dance with the School of the Arts.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you still have your tutu?
No, but I have my point shoes.
You have your point shoes? Are they beaten down into a pulp?
They're into
like
something.
Your toes were?
Those are my tap shoes.
Can you still tap?
I can.
Are you going to do a real estate marketing event where we can see you tap dance? This could be the best client event ever. All of Mindy's past clients are invited to a tap dancing spectacular.
Well, Al Roker just did one with a woman that was 102 today on the Today Show.
Well, then you have time to get your act back together because you're a long way from 102. Actually, if you're one of Mindy's past clients watching this episode, I need you to put it in the comments if you think she ought to put on a dance extravaganza for the past client group, because I think that would be fantastic. It would be the best word of mouth ever. And you could partner with a local dance school, and the little ones could come show their chops too. And then the parents would say, Mindy needs to be our realtor.
There we go.
I'm on to something here, Mindy. I'm on to something.
Let me write these ideas.
I mean, right? I mean, honestly, real estate is just about people knowing that you exist.
That's
and
right.
knowing that they like you. So back to that thing you mentioned a little bit ago, that connective fiber. What happens when they find out that you were a 13-year classically trained dancer? They probably say, oh, I wish I was.
Well, that's why she walks like a duck.
Well, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck,
is.
you can sell a house.
That's right. You can sell a house.
But I'm fine. So if you're in real estate and you're listening to this podcast or watching it and thinking, man, I need some more Leigh Brown answers in my life. Well, guess what, friends? I have a new program that is launching right now called Answers.Real Estate, where I will give you every bit of insight I have to help you grow your real estate business, help you better respond to consumers, to provide a more excellent real estate experience, so that the next time you land on crazy shit in real estate, you'll have a better solution to whatever you ran into. Answers.Real Estate. There are monthly plans available. You will love it. Get your coaching. Sign up with me today. Okay, so 7 years in real estate, 7 is a very big number biblically. That's the number of completion in so many ways. It means you have come full circle. Do you feel like you, at 7 years, have a good, solid foundational footing in real estate?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a hard question to answer because something's going to change tomorrow.
Something will change in 5 minutes. But yes, I definitely think I have my bearings with me now. And I just sold a house in Lexington, North Carolina
Oh, yeah?
in January, so I try to stay around the Charlotte market, but if somebody needs me in Lexington, let's go. Let's talk about barbecue. Let's figure it out.
You're just looking for a reason to eat when you go sell property. Okay, fair.
Well, there's no good barbecue in Charlotte, so.
The R&R is pretty good in Concord, and the smoke pit's very good in Concord.
Yes, but still not my Lexington barbecue.
Well, it ain't that nasty mustard stuff from South Carolina, so at least we have the right kind of barbecue, even if we disagree on which one's better. Have you been to Gary's in China Grove?
I don't think so.
Okay, go to Gary's, and then let's see if Lexington is still your number one.
I do like ROs in Gastonia.
I haven't been there.
Oh, that's good.
It's
Get you
good?
a cherry sundrop with the shaved ice.
Well, that's the way to go. I mean, I get the cherry lemon sun drop at the Whataburger across my parking lot. It's an advantage here at my office. So
I forgot
Okay,
you were
so-
that close.
anyway, 7 years in real estate, you've seen and heard and experienced things that you still can't believe somebody did, said, or behaved. Can't wait to hear the story you have to tell from anywhere in the beautiful 7 years of your real estate existence. What story did you bring us today?
I brought you a good one. This is a lesson on why we now have buyer agency agreements.
Oh, this is very timely then.
Very timely. Got a referral from an out-of-state agent who found me on social media and thought we would pair well together. These folks were lovely, came, told me they needed to have property where they could have chickens. Well, we can't look in subdivisions.
No.
And you're scrolling through every single deed restriction before you even schedule anything in showing time. I believe we looked at about 50 houses.
50? What year was this? This is early in your career?
22.
In 22, to find 50 houses means you were looking at everything in a 4-hour radius because we had nothing on the market.
Correct. So you can tell, the miles that were put on the Jeep.
A lot.
A lot. And the last house I finally showed them, I was so frustrated. I was over it. They could tell I was over it.
Oh.
And we left, and I said, if you see anything else, let me know. So fast forward to January 24, my mother had to have deep brain stimulation surgery. So she has essential tremors.
Oh.
That's a story for another day. But anyways, the day she had surgery, they called another agent, signed an agreement with them.
They did not. After 50 houses, while your mama's in surgery?
While my mama's having brain surgery. Did not call and tell me.
That's ugly.
So I had hooked them up with a local lender. And that lender called me and said, you need to know what is going on here. That was not a nice phone call that I made after I got off the phone with that lender.
Who did you call next? Did you call your broker and found?
Oh, no, I don't think I did. I think I just went right to the, but it was a lesson. And, at that time you could show houses without having to have that buyer's agency agreement.
Well, what did they say, Mindy? What was their excuse? They didn't.
That I couldn't find them a house that fit their needs. But every time we went into a house, and this is a lesson for anybody that's listening, every time we went into a house, their wants and needs changed.
Oh,
We started out with chickens, and then we thought we might get a small farm with some small horses and then get and grow and grow and grow. I'm showing you exactly what you've asked me to bring you. It's up to you to visualize and make it work for your family. But in the end, karma got them, and they were not able to close on a property.
how do you know that? Did you call the lender and say, just let me know if they don't go through?
I don't know how that information fell in my lap, Leigh.
I mean, it's one of the secrets of real estate life that we don't often admit to, but you're obviously a very open and honest person. We do stalk the people that don't use us, and we do look them up if they list with somebody else, and we watch and see what happens. And with buyers, we like to know if it happened or not, just because we need to close the chapter. It's not because we're going to do anything about it. We just need to know. It's so interesting.
Yep.
Hmm.
So that one was one for the storybooks.
It's the thing the public doesn't know about us, and we need to talk about it more as professionals, that the reason we get paid on commission is, and it feels high to some people, is because we take on an inordinate amount of risk. You've already mentioned the legal liability that we have as professionals, but it's also the risk that you undertook, investing all the time and the gas money and the wear and tear on your vehicle and throwing knowledge at them constantly to never get compensated for that. And the public surely doesn't understand that when they think that we should work hourly, because if you had charged this person hourly, how much would they have paid you?
A lot.
Your house be paid off right now.
It might have been. It was just, it was a lesson in how people treat other people and how that is. I said to them when I called them, you don't treat people like this. You're taking food out of my mouth, my family's mouth. It's just me and my dog Salem, but this is my business. Salem's got to eat too. This is my business. And so I just, I was like, this is not how you do that to people.
So you changed your business practice after those people and started getting your buyers to understand and sign the agency agreement before you went down that road pretty deeply like that?
Yes. So it was right before NAR brought in that lovely settlement. And I was going to do my rule in my head had changed, and I was going to do one showing, and then you sign the agreement, and then NAR made it easier for me.
And so what has the reaction of the consumer been? Because one thing we've not heard a whole lot about is what buyers are saying about that consultation period. Now, of course, some agents have been doing consultations for years and years, including me, because my daddy trained me that way a long time ago, but It was not common industry practice. And so as you shifted your business model and then NAR comes in and basically affirms your practice, how did buyers react to saying, hey, if you want to work with Mindy, we have to discuss all this stuff up front?
They have all but one, and they were from out of state, but they signed it eventually. But all but one put up a fight. And I say this to my clients every time we meet. This is the most inappropriate conversation that I have to have. I hate it. There's no other profession where you walk right into the house and say, hello, I'm Mindy. By the way, this is how much money I'm going to make.
Before you know anything about me and before I prove my worth, you got to agree to pay me, yeah?
Yeah. It is the most backwards policy on how to do things. But, I'm here. I'm going to make it work.
And we're going to see probably more rule changes now that there's some new appointments in the administration. The new associate at the DOJ is not a fan of real estate. And so we'll find out what else happens next. But you know what? If there's anything we know in real estate, it's that we never know what's going to happen next. So we may as well just go take the next class, learn something, and
move on.
As Bill says, we keep hauling and hoping, pitching and praying.
That's what I did with those chicken folks.
You did. You hauled and hoped a lot, and you pitched and you prayed, and it just didn't work out. But
God had a different plan.
I mean, I'd say if you're a consumer listening to this and you're feeling a little bit riled up because you said, well, maybe they didn't like her. All right. If that's the angle, they could have picked up the telephone and said, hey, Mindy, we're done here. We don't have a good fit. I'm just not that into you. And they could have moved on in an adult fashion instead of just vanishing on the day your mom is having brain surgery.
Right.
Poor behavior. But, we've all fallen into the trap of breaking up by text, I guess.
They mama didn't teach them any manners.
No, they weren't from around here.
They weren't.
All right. So, Mindy, if anybody wants to reach out to you to find out more about the Huntersville area, more about the Lake Norman area, Charlotte in general, they'd love your attitude and want to find you. What's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, they can find me at homewithmindy.com. You can find me on Instagram, Home with Mindy. You can find me on Facebook. You can Google my name, Mindy Delano. I like to educate people on how to pronounce the last name. It's Delano. Not Delano, not Delaho, not.
Well,
I've gotten it all.
We would never call you a hoe.
Could maybe in the past, but anyway, that's another story.
Too old for that now.
Too old for that. And then you can find me on my website, homewithmindy.com.
I'm glad you leaned on the pronunciation of your last name because one of my favorite follows on Twitter is Delano Squires. He is a thought leader and he's brilliant. But when I see your name, I think Delano because I think of Delano Squires, but now I know it's Delano and it's
Delano.
Lane, not ho.
Not ho. Or Deland. I've gotten that before. Deland.
Oh, well, Deland is fine. If they want to buy Deland, they can call you. If they want to buy the house, they can call you. I mean, that should be your next Instagram reel, Mindy. If you don't, I'll be disappointed.
Okay. I'll tag you in.
I mean, my name is Delano, but if you want to buy the land, call me. If you want to buy the house, call me. It'll be cute as a button. At least you and I are laughing. Maybe somebody else will too.
That's right. Well, I do have to give you some credit for my social media presence because if I hadn't watched you and learned from you and taken your market in a minute and made it my own, I would not be sitting here today in front of you. So thank you.
Well, I'm delighted that it's been helpful to your business because we don't always have to create everything from scratch. And the beauty of social media is it's a pretty big world. There's enough room for all of us in it.
Yeah. You built my confidence up.
Yeah. Well, you already had it. You just had to be reminded maybe a little bit.
Well, if people can get on TikTok in the outfits they're on, I can get on TikTok.
I mean, at least you and I are smart enough not to wear those outfits on the TikTok because we were raised better than that.
Yeah.
Mindy, thank you so much for your time and for coming on the show. It's an honor to have you here, and I just love chatting with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Leigh.
All right, y'all, say something nice about Mindy in the comments, and seriously, vote for her to have a dance-off client event. It'll be a rock-solid thing, I can already tell. Hit the bell to subscribe and come back and see us next time. By the way, friends, don't miss my brand new coaching program at answers.realestate, where you can have access to Leigh Brown, submit your questions, have them answered, meet like-minded professionals, have an entire library to help you build your business no matter what happens in the market. Get signed up today. I promise you'll be glad you did. So if you found value in this episode, please like and subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell, and catch another amazing episode by clicking above. Crazy Shit in Real Estate is also available on all of your normal podcast apps. So if that's where you like to hang out, go find me, click subscribe, and most importantly, leave me a review that says you think I'm awesome, my guests are awesome, or this content is just exactly what you were looking for. And then, by the way, if there's something you need, you want to learn about something, you can comment below anytime. You can also send me a direct message if you need to remain anonymous. No judgment. But anyway, I'll only judge if you forget to subscribe and click. I'll see you next time.